District 8, a vibrant and diverse region of northwest San Antonio, is home to nearly 135,000 people. Over the last 3 decades, the once sparsely developed suburban landscape is now home to Fortune 500 companies, a university in transition, the premier medical community in South Texas, small businesses, retail centers, and a diverse mix of neighborhoods. It exemplifies the opportunities and challenges we face as a city. These regional assets and the accompanying growth have unleashed economic and real estate development for the city that is unprecedented. And with that growth has come real and profound changes to the District 8 community. I want to hear from you. What are your hopes and concerns for our district? What should be the priorities for our city? In District 8 and throughout San Antonio, we have a lot going for us, and it is my goal to ensure that, in an era of unprecedented growth and opportunity, we improve the quality of life for everyone.
We're going to begin the second portion of this, which I'm sure everybody is very excited about. So without much further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Eddie Aldrete from IBC Bank.
Well, thank you. Just wanted to say thank you for being here today. It's an important process, and we're proud to be sponsors of today's event because this is critical to the success of a community when people come together and express their issues and their concerns. When I think of Ron Nirenberg, I think of 3 things: leadership, vision, and dedication. Leadership, because leadership isn't defined by what you say, but by what you do. And he has been showing that since the day that he took office. He's shown that he's not afraid to roll up his sleeves and to tackle issues. Not just the issues that you've been talking about, streets and drainage and truck crime and traffic and transportation and infrastructure, but the other issues too, the ones that are tough, the ones that are complex, and even the ones that are controversial. And I think that's the sign of a true leader. Vision, because he's not just focused on today. He is looking at economic development, and he's a champion of job creation. And what do we need to do to bring companies here that was just talked about, good companies bringing high-paying jobs to this community to provide those opportunities. But he's also looking at the long haul. What does it mean? The 2 words that I've heard in the past hour here are growth and sustainability. So he's asking the tough questions about our electric grid, about our 50-year water supply, and how do we help maintain the growth and sustainability over the long haul for this community. He's asking not just why, but why not, and how, and where, and when. Those are the types of questions that need to be asked on the City Council. Dedication, because he's here today on a Saturday afternoon with all of you, giving of his personal time to do what it takes to get the job done. This is a critical process. It's an important process, just like we had during SA 2020. Going around the community when the consultant said don't expect more than 1,000 people, and about 5,000 people across the city came out. I'm reminded of a quote from Plato that says, "Get involved in the governmental process or you shall be governed by those who do." By being here today, you are choosing to be masters of your own destiny, and you're doing that under the leadership of Councilman Nirenberg. The one thing that I admire most about him is he listens more than he talks. And that's what his job is here today. He's here to hear what you think, what you believe, what you're worried about, what keeps you up at night, what you're excited about, and what you think we should be doing more of, and what you think we should be doing less of. Because the one thing Ron Nirenberg knows is that as a community, we can't move forward unless we move together. That's why I'm proud and honored to introduce to you our City Councilman, Ron Nirenberg.
Wow, thank you, Eddie. Hopefully this will stay on when I'm talking. I also want to thank Eddie. He's been a pillar in this community for a long, long time, and it's a real privilege to be introduced by him. I want to thank USAA, of course, Bo Gilbert, and also IBC Bank for sponsoring the event, and our chambers as well. It's a real privilege to be here in front of you, especially on a Saturday night. I think Noah was actually trying to crack a joke there at the beginning when he said it's a rodeo day. You're here Saturday evening, you could be doing other things, yet you're here talking about municipal government. So really appreciate that. So it is an honor to be here with you as your councilman and to tell you that District 8 is and will continue to be a place we are proud to call home, a place where no matter your age, your profession, your politics, or your religion, you will find families and businesses like yours finding quality, safety, and prosperity. On every measure, from demographics to socioeconomics, District 8 is a microcosm of the city, a place as diverse as can be found in Texas. According to the last census, we are 43% Hispanic, 42% Anglo, 6% African American, 7% Asian. We have areas of majority upper income and areas of majority lower income and all strata in between. We have a place of worship for every religion practiced in San Antonio. And we are growing twice as fast as the rest of the city, nearly 34% since the last census. In District 8, we have an opportunity to demonstrate that communities can come together despite their challenges and differences. We can demonstrate that local government still works for everyone, that as a community, we thrive because of our diversity, not in spite of it. So this evening, I want to thank you for joining your neighbors, sharing your priorities, and helping us set an agenda for 2014. Now, we will need your help to make it happen. Today, I want to share with you how local government is working for you and how you can get involved. But first, I'd like to acknowledge my two toughest constituents, my son Jonah and my wife Erica. I love you both. It's a personal challenge for me to inspire the same passion and respect for public servants in my son Jonah. And though he doesn't quite understand the details of what we do, he always aptly measures the success of my day by asking, "Did you make our world better?" In the last 6 months, our team has been working round the clock to meet the standards set by past leaders of District 8, so I want to say thank you to my friend and former Councilwoman Bonnie Connor for being here. And we've been doing the vital work of managing community issues. When you have a pothole on your street, a stray dog in your neighborhood, or graffiti on your property, your city government is here to help. My District 8 office has a goal with no exceptions: return every call, respond to every email and letter, and treat every neighbor like your own. And in District 8, every voice will be heard and every issue will be addressed. The challenges we face in District 8 are not ours to face alone, so my first responsibility as your councilman is to establish a capable and energetic team to respond to the specific and varied needs of our community. And I'm pleased to report that we've done just that. So Alice, Jackie, TJ, Eloy, Coda, Harjot, Chris, and Noah, please stand up and be recognized. On behalf of my neighbors in this district, I want to thank you for your service. And these guys are working every day, every weekday and every weekend to keep District 8 a great place to live and to work. They are problem solvers and they are working tirelessly for you. And together we're working to make District 8 and our office more accessible, present, and relevant in our community. Since the summer, we've hosted a family picnic at Bonnie Connor Park, a back-to-school event at Brandeis High School, and a holiday party at the Firefighters Union Hall. We collected canned goods for the food bank during Thanksgiving, and we donated toys to Elf Louise, and we participated in charitable events to help bring disaster relief to the Philippines. This summer, we created the District 8 Community Academy, whose mission is proactive constituent services. If you can't come to our office will come to you. We organize volunteer block walks to let neighbors know about the issues that we're addressing in the city, and we're gathering teams for on-call graffiti abatement. We're adding to our District 8 Bandit Sign Brigade to remove the nuisance signs that bring down the appearance of our neighborhoods. Through the District 8 Community Academy, my office listens to our neighbors, identifies challenges, and solves issues together. Today, you've taken time to help organize priorities for our community, and I hope soon you will take time to attend one of our monthly D8 Dialogue Town Hall events, or join us on one of our citizen advisory councils that examine and advise my office on issues like energy policy, job creation, neighborhood safety, and many others. Boosting participation throughout the district, however, cannot happen without a corresponding commitment to increasing transparency. So my office is leveraging technology to bring government closer to you through every media, from public access to social media. And I'm excited to tell you that we're leading a charge with city staff to broadcast the Wednesday City Council B sessions. For local government junkies like Marianne, for interested citizens, or those who just want to see more of Salon.com's 7 Sexiest Man, you're welcome. Every resident should have access and input on how we balance growth while maintaining quality of life that we want and expect. And as you know, in District 8, that growth is rapidly unfolding. This district is home to 3 Fortune 500 companies, a university in pursuit of Tier 1 status, the hub of our region's healthcare industry, and world-class shopping districts like the La Cantera and the Rim. We are an epicenter for economic development in the city, and as your councilman, I will push strategies that drive job creation, including conservative but effective use of incentives to bring businesses and retain existing ones here in our community. Return on investment is what matters, and that's why I'll push an agenda that prioritizes job training and workforce development, small business opportunities, and business incubators like that can be found here in the district in biotech and medical research. Job creation and workforce development is absolutely vital for our future here and throughout the city. The challenge of growth is that often it is occurring faster than infrastructure can keep pace. Balance comes at a higher and higher premium. I've pushed for an approach in zoning, planning, and economic development that is pro-growth, but protects cost of living and quality of life. This means making the right investments in infrastructure and working with businesses and residents to anticipate and to mitigate the impacts of new development. Balance achieves the outcomes our community needs: new jobs, broad economic impact, quality neighborhoods, and respect for our natural resources. This pertains to industrial, commercial, single-family, and multifamily projects, and it means we will work with businesses to achieve quality development, observant of the fact that private property carries inherent rights for the owner and obligations to be a good neighbor in the community. In every case, we'll work with stakeholders to mitigate impacts, including aesthetics, safety, environment, and traffic, and so far, we've done exactly that. On the top of everyone's list of growth issues to address in the city, however, and certainly here in District 8, is traffic. If you spend any time on Wurzbach, De Zavala, Peru, Hausman, or most any other road that goes east-west in District 8, you know that traffic is a strike against us on this side of town. 2 years ago, I sought this office in part because I wanted to do something about our growing traffic problem, and today I am. Recently, I was appointed to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, where we work with officials in surrounding counties, the city, and the Regional Mobility Authority, John Clamp is here, and TxDOT to secure federal and state funding for improving traffic across our region. Just last month, transportation officials joined together to announce investments in local road infrastructure that total $825 million. As a result, we will be conducting a thorough study of the Wurzbach corridor, which will soon take freeway traffic right into the heart of residential congestion around the medical center. I hope that solutions presented in this study can be applied to other problem areas throughout our district, hotspots like Prue Road, De Zavala, Huebner, and Babcock. We will be constructing managed lanes on I-10 between 1604 and Ralph Fair Road. These new lanes will provide guaranteed uncongested priority travel for mass transit and emergency vehicles, and provide a revenue source for construction and maintenance, and consumer choice for private commuters. We are revising the infrastructure maintenance program to identify streets that have been mired in disrepair far too long. And I'm collaborating with colleagues in neighboring districts to help improve intersections and traffic flow on streets that we share. And I'm working with engineers at the city and in private practice to identify creative solutions to the most vexing residential bottlenecks that slow down your commute to work. The unfortunate reality, however, is that it will take bond-sized, multi-million-dollar projects to truly make significant progress for many of our district roadways. And over the coming years, as we look toward the next bond program for the city in 2017, I am asking you to help identify our region's most critical infrastructure needs. That process needs to start today. This will take collaboration among you in this room to help prioritize limited resources on seemingly unlimited infrastructure need throughout our district. When we work together to set priorities, it allows us to focus our efforts and resources to make effective, long-lasting improvements rather than spreading resources too thin and ending up with a lot of change but not a lot of improvement. A good model of how we've done things right and differently than in the past is right here in District 8. The marquee project in the 2012 bond project is the roadway and drainage improvement on Houseman Road. At a total cost of $62 million, the Houseman Road project is the single largest voter-approved roadway improvement in city history. I want to thank my predecessor, former Councilman Reed Williams, for demonstrating leadership on this and for being my guest at the groundbreaking in December. Despite the enormity of the project, Houseman will be complete on a much shorter timeline than conventional construction. And it will include roadway expansion, dedicated turn lanes, hike and bike trails, and new utility and drainage infrastructure. But with this one massive project, we are making significant progress to address east-west connectivity throughout our district. And if we do things right, we can celebrate more groundbreakings just like this one in the coming years. It's important to note, however, that Houseman Road would never have gotten done without the approval of voters, and were it not for the success of the city's financial management. We recently learned that not only is San Antonio the only big city in the country with a AAA rating from all three credit rating agencies, it is the only top 10 city with a AAA rating from any agency. This is not merely window dressing for our city. For instance, as the city manager said, a 2-notch decline in rating for San Antonio would have increased borrowing costs by the same amount as the entire road construction of Houseman. Were it not for San Antonio's strong financial position, a road like Houseman would be remaining undone for years. No bike lanes, no bridges, not 1 square inch of asphalt on one of the most congested roadways in the city. However, this year we learned that new criteria by rating agencies have put San Antonio on notice, and we must respond. That is why in the coming year I will be advocating for an increase in saving to reserve funds. This is a starting place, and with ever-stretched revenues, it will likely mean additional tough choices during our budget talks this summer. On my 5th day on this job, Council met and was told that San Antonio faced a $35 million shortfall in fiscal year 2014. We made some tough choices and we delayed others, and we will face similar challenges in 2015. And though one-time fee increases and efficiency measures help ease the pain of core service cuts, they don't stop the bleeding of an overall structural budget deficit. We must address the fact that despite cuts in services over the past several years, growth in revenues is not keeping pace with growth of expenses. And as a community, we must engage the difficult conversation of which core services we are willing to live without and which taxes and fees we are willing to pay. One thing I learned in the fiscal year 14 budget process was the importance of reforming how we fund social service agencies. We currently have a pool of $22 million in the Department of Human Services that goes to roughly 60 delegate agencies performing a host of services, from homelessness prevention and transformation to AIDS prevention. Rather than offer a strategic direction for the city, the current system encourages agencies to lobby council for funding. It's demeaning to the agencies themselves and often results in duplication of services paid for by taxpayers. In response, we are pursuing improvements to an anti-lobbying policy that can add procedural integrity and efficiency to the process. We are well on our way to achieving those goals. And in addition, I believe that we can examine how city-owned properties are leased to third-party businesses and organizations. There are good reasons to provide below-market rate leases to quality organizations, especially those that provide important services to the public. However, so-called dollar leases are revenue lost for the city at a time when residents are being asked to pay more for less. And we should consider adjusting those dollar leases so that good organizations still save money for delivering good services, but they are also paying a fair rent. Fairness is an important concept, and this will drive one of the most important conversations for the future of San Antonio's budget. how to fund and deliver public safety in our community in the years to come. Every year, City Manager Cheryl Sculler reports to the Council on the city's finances. We prioritize based on that fiscal reality. Public safety is the first and most fundamental priority for the city and for most any governmental entity. As such, it takes up 2/3 of the city's budget in San Antonio. Crime has decreased overall, including violent crimes in District 8, and fire service has improved response times and flexibilities, with additions to serve northern reaches of District 8, a mobile command unit, and specially trained firefighters who can respond quickly to crises, including brush fires. My office has worked with SAPD to identify hotspots for property crime, which has plagued District 8 neighborhoods for years. And we are working with SAPD to stop illegal street racing, a dangerous crime that has taken the lives of too many young people here in District 8. I have also pushed for the continued enhancement of our safe department operations that buoy neighborhood quality of life. This year, we mourn the loss of Lauren Bump, who was murdered in one of our parks. I want to thank the police department for acting quickly and for catching the suspect. Though this won't bring back Lauren, we will honor her memory by doing everything we can to deliver justice on this case and to work together to keep our park system safe for families to enjoy. Our park system is the crown jewel of this city, especially here in District 8, and we cannot allow it to be held hostage by crime or by fear. Park safety will be a high priority for my office in the coming year. With two premier public safety departments, we must work together to keep them that way. But as time wears on, old ways of funding public safety and honoring a commitment to our first responders have challenged the financial well-being of these departments nationwide. We have seen examples where unrealistic expectations and a refusal to work together have led to financial ruin of entire municipalities. That won't happen in San Antonio because we won't let it happen in San Antonio. So the city has undertaken an effort to address increasing strain on our budget caused by medical costs that are rising 2 to 3 times faster than growth of revenues. Make no mistake, public safety officers deserve to be treated with respect and paid a fair wage with benefits to match. They put their lives on the line for us, not for the pay or the benefits, but because they are San Antonians who care about their neighbors too. I believe that the first and best way to keep first responders safe is to make sure public safety departments are fully staffed and fully equipped. We can't do that and meet our other core service obligations in the meantime without fiscal responsibility. We must make sure expenditures in any department don't get out of balance with the other important services that make San Antonio livable, such as libraries, streets, and parks. As the public safety operations and benefits are collectively bargained again this year, it will be important to note our fiscal reality. There is a structural budget deficit caused by rising costs that must be addressed. Temperance and realism in those negotiations are vital for everyone. In the end, I am confident that despite the temperature in the room, we will get this right as a community. I was reminded of that when I saw the thousands of residents lining the streets to pay tribute to fallen police officer Bobby Decker, as he was laid to rest earlier this year. He was a 31-year-old standout for this city, and his heroism left behind young children and a grieving widow. Yet, our community is safer because of him. Officer Decker's sacrifice should be honored by all of us. And the 4 pillars of the department's vision, which Bobby upheld, should prevail: integrity, respect, compassion, and fairness. Our public safety mission is also advanced here in District 8 by one of the city's largest and most important assets, the South Texas Medical Center. It employs 26,000 workers and hosts more than 5 million patients annually. All told, the economic impact for San Antonio is some $30 billion annually. I want to thank our partners in the medical center, especially the San Antonio Medical Foundation, led by Jim Reed, who was here earlier, and the Medical Center Alliance, led by Bill Balthrop. I'm working with both of them as they revise the area's strategic plan so that infrastructure investments by the city align with the medical center real estate and economic development activity, totaling in the billions over the next several years. Collaboration at this level will help us to realize an enormous opportunity for continued job creation in this sector. And while economic development at the medical center is important, ensuring that each employee, patient, and visitor travel safety is even more important. Since this summer, we have directed resources to street, sidewalk, and signage improvements. We have dropped the speed limit throughout the medical center, and we bolstered police presence to make sure drivers slow down. In December, we broke ground on a $6.6 million project that will improve Hamilton Wolf and Babcock, and the council approved $1 million for a project to improve the crosswalk and sidewalks at Merton Minter and Wurzbach. These projects leverage private funds and represent the quality collaboration that exists between the city and the medical center community, and that will continue on my watch. The medical center and medical industry centered here in District 8 is advanced further by worthy public and private investments in advanced technology, biosciences, cancer therapy, regenerative medicine, and research. The world will take notice of that in December as San Antonio hosts the 2014 World Stem Cell Summit. And I want to acknowledge the important efforts of Ann Stevens and Biomed SA, who have worked to bring that conference here and raise the profile of medical and biosciences in San Antonio. Our community of research and thought leaders in the medical community continues to grow, and it is no coincidence that there is a corresponding growth of the University of Texas at San Antonio in its pursuit of Tier 1 status. Already, UTSA confers more degrees than any other university in South Texas and contributes over $1 billion to the local economy. But like growth of the region in general, UTSA's growth has been accompanied by some pains, including a changing landscape nearby some of our well-established neighborhoods. On the front end, my office will continue to work with landowners and builders to ensure new developments are high quality and address the aesthetic, safety, traffic, and environmental concerns we all share. And on the back end, we are working with neighborhoods, with SAPD, area businesses, and students themselves to ensure that the character and quality of life in these areas is maintained. We are also meeting with UTSA officials to discuss their master plan. For a university of this size, in proximity to neighborhoods like these, we need a student cultural zone around the university that helps provide a place for student-friendly activities, but also protects against the erosion of family-friendly environment in adjacent neighborhoods and business corridors. I'm ready to work on this, and for the benefit of area residents and for the benefit of current and prospective students. Encouraging good growth like this is what will make our city healthy and our economy strong. However, we need a more comprehensive discussion about the basic element of our economy, and the one that can either support positive growth, or hinder it: water. Recently, the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank released a report that cited water scarcity as the biggest threat to the economy in Texas. Water is and always will be an economic issue for San Antonio. Our water supply comes primarily from the Edwards Aquifer, a quickly replenished, unfiltered underground source of water that is regulated by local, state, and federal laws. Yet with growth projections of our region and persistent drought conditions, the need to secure new supplies, protect current ones, and diversify the system overall has never been greater. It is clear that every action that we undertake at the city, from building of transportation infrastructure to annexation to a push forward on higher density residential communities, has an impact on the availability of water in our future, both for sustaining life and for sustaining economic well-being. This week, I filed a council consideration request directing city staff to assemble a report that compiles all of the policies, procedures, regulations, and standards that impact or are impacted by water supply, our ability to provide clean and abundant water for our future generations. I look forward to the dialogue that we will have with the entire community on this issue, and I'm hopeful that the result will be at this and future councils will be able to act at every level to enhance water security. It is an economic imperative. The challenges for water supply, transportation, education, job growth, and so many others are daunting, and in District 8, the challenges are especially acute. However, my office is leading a charge to meet the demands of growth in San Antonio, to secure the quality of life you've come to expect, and help us build a San Antonio that we can be proud of. Today, I'm asking you to take part in these conversations beyond this room. Be a part of our office's efforts to improve our district. Help us push forward the agenda that we've built together. The next 2 years will be turbulent, at times controversial, but always moving forward. We are working to save the largest bat colony on Earth from encroaching development in the Hill Country. We are finding ways to provide more efficient services to refugees that are brought to this city and into the heart of our district. We are working to ensure that the explosive growth in Northwest San Antonio and throughout the city brings prosperity and bolsters quality of life. We are working hard for you and for your family. And while there will be debate, you can count on me to always ask 3 basic questions. Is it fair? Is it fiscally responsible? And have we done our homework? I thank you for the privilege to serve you and represent our many neighbors here in District 8. So now let's get to work.